Alright, so what's up, guys? Tonight is April 26th, and I have a story that I would like to share. And if you're not really one of those people who like really sad shit, then might not be this story for you. So I have a San Cristobal. We're gonna light this up. Ugh, smells beautiful. And I'm just gonna talk about this event that has changed my life. As many events have in my life, this one in particular is just one of those things that when it you never think it's gonna happen, but when it does, it really hits you hard. You know what I mean? So if you want to just pop your headphones in, or whatever you're doing, you're at work, maybe you're gonna listen to this. It's probably gonna be about a half-hour long video. So let's just get into it. So let me just get open this San Cristobal. This is gonna be like a peanutty, spicy kind of scent. He told me taste, and I got some ice water, and that's what I'm doing. So let's just cut the knob here, the end, how I like it. Let's do it right there. That's perfect. Oh wow. That does have a very nutty taste. So if you'll notice in the background here, you'll see a picture of a dog. His name was Angel. There's a picture of him here as well. My favorite picture of him. He was a pit bull. And today is the anniversary of how he was killed. Give me 1 second. Let's get started here. This is not my preferred way of lighting a cigar, but I don't have a torch. And these matches suck. Fuck. There we go. Yeah. Alright, give me 1 second. Alright, I got her lit. Tasty. So, Angel was a pit bull, and let's talk about how he was killed. So, I got him on Halloween in 2007. So if you'll see on my arm, I have this tattoo for him. So it's all Halloween. It says Angel. There's his birth date, Halloween, Requiescat in Pace. And then I have him back here, but we'll go over that later. He was born on Halloween 07. I got him with his brother, Brooklyn. These two dogs did not get along. I mean, when I'm telling you that two pit bulls fighting like you see on TV or a video, that's what they did. So I was dating a girl at the time, and she wanted to get rid of the other dog, or she broke up with me, so I had to get rid of the other dog. And his name was Brooklyn. He's actually still alive, but probably about 9 years old now, close to 10. So it was just me and Angel. I mean, he was my absolute best friend. I went everywhere with him. And then I met another girl who I dated. She moved right in as soon as I met her. Young, stupid mistake. She moved right into my house. Couldn't get her away from me. she wanted to get another dog about a year later, and her name was Keely. And I told her, I says, he don't like other dogs, Angel, he's just a pain in the ass with dogs. Oh, she's a girl, she'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like talked me into it. So I went along with it. Wanted her to be happy, I'm thinking, whatever, maybe it is a girl, and Angel's a little older now, so maybe it'll be fine. It was for a little while until it wasn't, and then they started fighting. So to get a long story short with them two, I ended up actually how that ended up was that girlfriend at the time had ended up breaking up with me. So we had our apartment together with the two dogs, and she says to me one night, I'm done. And then just the next day I come home from work, all of her shit was gone, the bed was gone, and Keely was gone. And we didn't discuss who's taking what or dogs or anything like that. She just did it. So once again, it was just me and Angel, and it was a tough time for me at that in particular time, because we were together for a long time and she just left, and it was tough to deal with. I was old, I was in was I 30 at that point? No, I was 29. So I was still kind of learning how to deal with a breakup like that, and I still wasn't fully into being a man, following my pursuit of happiness, and just focusing on myself. I couldn't grasp it. You know what I mean? I let that just take complete emotional advantage of my entire life, and I just said fuck everything. The only thing that kept me from just going completely over the edge was this dog. So a few months goes by, and I ended up at this body shop. I just remember it was just such dark days. I was smoking a lot of marijuana and drinking, and just it was just a mess. And I had my car blew up. Wasn't paying my bills. I was real skinny, not eating right. You know what I mean? It was just a bad time. And I just remember riding my bike to work every day, and I didn't have a car, but I kept going to work. It was, nothing was going to keep me from getting a paycheck. I had to feed the dog too, and it was just, it felt like every time you took a step forward, you went 5 steps backwards, and it was just a never-ending cycle. And I wanted to, at one point, I tried to sign up for the National Guard as if that was even a possibility. It just everything I tried to do just backfired. I lost a lot of friends because of her. People were taking sides, and I was in a car club, and we were all friends, and then we weren't, and then I started working at this shop that the people were real shady. I wasn't making a lot of money. It was just bad. And I ended up losing the apartment, and I was going to be homeless. So I had to find somewhere to live. The tough thing about having a dog is finding somewhere to live. So one of my friends, he had he had his own house, and I decided, we're gonna move in. We're buddies. I've never had a roommate before. Before I owned my house, I lived at home, and I bought my house when I was 21. And I was pretty young, so I never had a roommate. The only person I've ever lived with was with a girl, a girlfriend. So I wasn't really used to having a roommate and splitting bills and stuff like that. Wasn't really something I thought was going to be a problem either. But actually, it ended up being a really big problem. If anybody have a roommate that's a friend, get out of that situation as fast as you can. If it works, that's fine, but there's going to be a time where it just doesn't work. There's always, and if you do it, make sure you keep track of what you're paying, and always get receipts for everything. I mean, everything. So, and keep your receipts just in a folder. No big deal. Just a folder, receipts, blah, blah, blah. You know, most people lose their receipts, but if you just get a little organized, keep your receipts. Remember that, receipts. So, I'm living at this house, and I'm bringing the dog, Angel, to work every day because, you know, I didn't want him to be a nuisance at the house where I was living at. He had a son, my buddy, who I lived with, and they were there on the weekends, and we were working on the weekends, and Angel was the type of dog where if you didn't watch him, like there was no yard, wasn't fenced in, so he had to always be on a leash. That's the yard. That's the last picture ever was taken of him. I don't know if you can see it, but you can't really see it, but if you go on my Instagram, you can. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's the last picture of him that's ever been taken. And that's that yard. So it wasn't fenced in. So I said to, you know, like his mom would come with his son and we'd be at work because at that time he was working at the shop that I worked at as well. Actually, I was the manager of the shop and I got him a job there. And he was doing mechanical work while I was, of course, doing paint and auto body stuff. And it just... I didn't want that to ash so soon. That sucks. Anyway, he would come to work. We'd be working on the weekends, and his mom would bring his son to the house. And I didn't want Angel to be there because I didn't want anything to happen. I was just always trying to look out for him. And I didn't want to have that responsibility on anybody else, so I would always bring him to work, to the shop. One day, it was a Saturday, a beautiful first nice day of the year, just like it is today. Just like it is today. I mean, it's literally just the exact same day. It feels like, almost. Because it's been like, you know how it is, April. It's always raining and you always have that random snow shower and you just want spring to be here. And it's towards the end of April where it's finally get that one nice day and then maybe a few more rainy days. But this was that one day, you know what I mean? And I remember waking up in the morning and he was, you know, laying with me in the bed and I said, "Oh, buddy, I gotta go to work." I says, "I'm not gonna be long." I used to talk to him, you know, he's my fucking best friend. I went everywhere with him. He was glued to me. I says, "No, dude, I'm just gonna leave you home today." I said, "I'll be back in a few hours," you know, because it was so nice and the morning was nice. Like, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, Saturday. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I'm not gonna be hanging out long, so I left him. I left him there. I always gave him a kiss on, you know, on his little doggy head. And that was the last time I ever saw him alive. Well, it wasn't the last time I ever saw him alive. It was the last time that he was a dog again. Like, he was him. He was not hurt in pain or anything. I can't believe how long it's been. And it still hurts me to talk about it because it's just... He was so innocent. Like, I've lost best friends, I've lost family, I lost my dad, and nothing compared to the feeling of losing this dog. And it wasn't so much him being gone or dying, it was how it happened, which we'll get to. So, I leave him home, and I go to work, and I'm working. And me and Craig, the friend, we're getting ready to leave, so we're leaving. And we're on I-95, and he's in my car. I had a Mercedes-Benz at the time. It was a piece of shit. It was like a 94 E320. The drive shaft snaps on 95. So I had to pull over. He's on a street bike. He sees me on the side of the road, and he flies by me on the street because I left first. And my drive shaft snapped, so I call a tow truck and waiting. He zooms by me on a bike. About 25 minutes later, he calls me and he says, "You got to get home right now. Where are you?" I says, "You just saw me broke down on the side of the road. What do you mean?" "Well, your dog's dying." I'm like, "What do you mean my dog's dying? How could that possibly?" What? I thought he was fucking with me. So I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "The fucking neighbor stabbed your dog. He's dying. You got to get home. I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Dude, you got to save him. Apply pressure. Do something, like, call an ambulance. Call my ex-girlfriend. Her name's Cassie at the time. Call her. Call Cassie. She lived down the street. She'll know what to do." He calls her. She couldn't get there. Whatever. I was helpless. So what ended up happening, and now at this point, I'm on the side of 95, and my fucking dog is dying, and I can't get there. There's nothing I could do. Literally, I'm 15 miles away. It was the worst fucking feeling I ever felt in my entire life, because I felt like I let him down, like I let him down, and I never really was able to forgive myself for that. I still ain't. It's just kind of just one of those things where it's like, if I just brought him to work, or, if you could think all these ifs, but nothing, it happened for a reason. And, so anyway, what ended up happening was, he was whining upstairs in his cage, and my friend's mom decides to let him out of the cage, which I begged no one not to do. Please don't let him out of the cage. If you do, please put him on a leash and watch him. She didn't, of course. Fucking, I'm not gonna say anything, but she was a fucking idiot. And his son ran out the front door. Somebody was walking their dog. Angel fucking plows out of the front door after the dog. He didn't. So what happens next is, I'm not even there. This is what witnesses are telling me. This is from all the witnesses. This is the first nice day of the spring. There's kids outside. There's people outside cutting grass, doing tree hemmages and shit. So this is eyewitnesses telling me. He ran out the door. The guy was walking his Jack Russell. And Angel plopped down and stuck his ass up in the air and was kind of like doing this. And that's what he would do. I knew they weren't lying, because I knew that's what he would do with dogs that he wanted to play with. So, but the guy walking the dog was a fucking lunatic. And he pulls out a knife. Like that. And sticks it right in my dog's throat. And kills him. Stabbed him right here. Right in the side of the neck. With a knife like this. Okay? From what people tell me, Angel just got up and walked to the front steps and fell over. Nobody was there to apply pressure. Nobody knew what to do. An ambulance heard somebody say they called the police because a dog got stabbed. So an ambulance didn't have nothing to do. They couldn't put him in the ambulance, but they wrapped up his neck. And Craig's mom rushed him to the hospital, but way too late before he already lost way too much blood. Craig, the way he pulled up, the guy was on top of Angel. And Craig said, "What are you doing to my dog?" This is all in a police report. And the guy said, "This is what I'm doing." And he pulls a knife out and he stabs him in the throat. Then Craig runs after this guy. He's on a street bike. He jumps off and kicks his ass. Like, he beats him up. The guy had a knife in his hand. So, yeah. I'm at the shop. I can't get a ride. The people I work for at the time wouldn't give me a fucking ride to the Animal. They're more concerned with money that they're making or whatever. Fucking Russians that I work for. No offense if you're Russian. They didn't give a shit about me. They didn't give a shit. They're supposed to be my boys. I was fucking devastated. I look back on it now and they just didn't even give a shit. And then, Craig's dad came, picked me up from the shop. He drove 20 minutes from who knows where. He drove me all the way back down to Levittown, Pennsylvania, where Angel was being held at the animal hospital, who had called me to see what I wanted to do. When they said to me, he's alive, but it's going to be about $12,000 he's going to need a blood transfusion, he's going to need surgery, and he still has about a 50% chance. And we need about $6,000 down payment now. I had about $4,000, my mom had about $4,000, we had about $8,000, but it still wasn't going to be enough. We weren't sure. So I had to make that tough decision. And they told me they would wait for me to get there before they did it. And I'm sorry, buddy. Fuck. But they said they would wait, so they waited. And I got there. And as soon as I walk in the room, fucking dog starts wagging his tail. He had his neck all wrapped up, and I grabbed him by his paw. And that's it. I told him I was sorry. And said goodbye. That was it. He was oh fuck. He was gone. That was it. It was But it's been a long time since I talked about this, and I thought that the 4-year anniversary and everything with YouTube and everything that's been going on now in life is just, everything's just working out and falling into place real nicely, and I'm doing real well, and everything's just it's just great. I mean, I miss him, but I think that if it wasn't for him risking his life, I was just spiraling out of control. And it took that to just really wake me up and realize how much I really needed to start focusing on myself, He didn't want me to worry about him, He was, of course I don't know that I've ever would have figured out life if this didn't happen. I really don't. And so that's the lesson from it. I turned it into an absolute positive. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. So after he died, it was just, I mean, I slept by myself for the first time without the dog next to me that night, and I just remember crying all fucking night. I was so hurt. I've never been. I just to even the thought about the way that felt, it just sucks. It sucks so bad. I remember because I lived at this house and I was going through the breakup and I missed her and then he was gone and I used to sit out front with Angel on the leash of the house hoping that Cassie would pass by because she lived down the street and see me and the dog and maybe like calm and just the way I was going about my everything I was doing was just, it was bad and I just wasn't living the life that you should be living. And that's why I do what I do now with YouTube. I want to help people. I want to talk to people about their problems and issues and things that you go through and different shit. Because life is fucked up, and there can be a tragic event in your life, and if you can relate to that, there's always going to be a way out of it. You know what I mean? So after he died, it was just darkness, just every night, just darkness. Just I couldn't see the light of anything. I remember the cop that was dealing with the canine cop. Another reason why I wanted to be a police officer, because he helped me so much. Officer Sanaki from Bristol Township Police, canine unit, had my back the full way. He said that dog didn't have a mark on him. He said that guy should go to jail for manslaughter, animal cruelty, whatever. And I said, if Angel attacked that dog would not be alive. And at that point, I would have made the decision to put the dog down, to put Angel down because he killed somebody's dog. But he didn't even touch the dog. Because if he did go after that Jack Russell, Angel was an 85-pound pit bull, Rottweiler mix. He was a beast of an animal. He would rip that dog to pieces. He would have had no chance. And I've seen this animal fight, which is why in the beginning I talked about how he would fight his sister and his brother, and they would rip each other apart. I mean, I've seen him do it. I've seen him kill a little dog in my backyard. That got into my backyard. He killed the dog and one bit his neck and broke his neck in an instant. And nobody could do it. Police couldn't do anything. The dog was with no collar, little Shih Tzu dog or something was in my yard, and I let him out. And I didn't know, and he freaking went right after the dog and just killed him. And he just didn't like little dogs, but he liked medium-sized dogs. He didn't have a problem with that. So that's why I knew when he got down like that with the tail wagging and shit that there was no... Now, if that dog nipped at him or something, then he would have probably fucking went ballistic. But at that point, you would have known because the dog would have been ripped to shreds. So the guy just jumped on him and killed him, and we dealt with going to court for it, and then it eventually, about 9 months later, they ended up just making him pay what it cost to put him down, which was about $1,000, and that was it. He got away with it. But now, if you harm an animal in Pennsylvania, it is a felony. That just happened last year. So, after all that, it was just about a year of just complete, absolute, total darkness. And then the roommate that I lived with ended up sleeping with the girlfriend. So, and I knew they were doing it. And so I had to get out of that situation. I had to get out of that house. I couldn't live there no more. I missed my dog. I wanted my dog back. And he wasn't coming back. And I just couldn't be at that house. And I still see the blood stain by that tree and on the front step. And it was just too much. So I moved in with a buddy of mine again, and just more shit problems, and then another buddy again, and then finally, it was about 2 years later when I just decided, you know what, or about a year and a half later, where I just decided, enough is enough. I'm fucking done. I wasn't doing like drugs or anything, but I was smoking a lot. But I knew I just had to change. I was getting wasted every night. I was working, but it was bullshit, the job. And that's when I found a job I have now at the place I work now, which is Coca-Cola. And I moved into my mom's house for a little while. Saved up a bunch of money, got my shit together, fucking figured out a plan. Said I'm gonna do fucking YouTube. I'm gonna get my own apartment. I'm gonna start over, and it's been about 2 years since. Well, it's been 3 years since I've been at Coke. So yeah, it's been it's been an awesome last couple years. It's been an awesome ride with you guys on here. And these life lemons I talk about, they're temporary. They're temporary. They don't last. I know they feel like they last forever. And it's just like, when the fuck am I going to get a break? But you do. And you just gotta stay strong and be independent. Don't rely on anybody else. Nobody else is going to fix your problems. No, this one thing that I learned when I finally decided to move back to my mom's house. And I just was like, I just can't be around fucking anybody. I'm done with everyone. I just keep getting stabbed in the back. Every one of my roommates is saying I'm not giving them the money. And, I moved into this one guy's house. He ended up taking my fish tank and wouldn't give me back my fish tank and stuff. I lived on his couch for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. And his electric got shut off. 2 weeks I lived there. And he says to me, you didn't fucking pay me the rent. The electric shut off, blah, blah. I says, dude, I lived here for like 2 weeks, bro. I was like, in order for your electric to get shut off, you'd have to not pay your electric bill for like 9 months. So how the fuck is this my issue? And I was like, plus I just gave you $500 to move in. So it was just, but I didn't make receipts or anything like that. So there was no way for me to prove any of that. So always make receipts if you're in that kind of situation, and try to get out of it. Try to be on your own, do your own thing, and that was the best thing